Hi, this is Jared Wells with LearnSpeed.com. In this video, we're going to take a look at timesheets, how to set them up properly so that they can be created automatically when sessions are created. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go to the Admin tab and go to the Configuration sub-tab, and then Timesheet Types. Here we have all of our different timesheet types that we set up. So let's take a look at one of them that I already have set up under Tutor. Alright, so here we've got the name Tutor. We can put a description in here. Default hours is simply if this was not associated with a session that was going to take place. Let's say if it was an administrative timesheet type, you could set in the duration. So maybe the default hours was 8 hours for an 8-hour day, or maybe you could just make it hourly and then they can change that when they create the timesheet. You can also leave that blank. Rate is the rate that the tutor gets paid. Now we're going to be able to create override rates for each particular instructor or administrator when we connect this particular timesheet type to them. We're going to get into that later, but this is the default rate, so we pay $20. Now this is going to be related to a session type for the instructor. So when the session is created with a particular session type, this timesheet is going to be created for the instructor. So what we need to also do is put in default late cancel rates. Let's say that the instructor gets paid $10 for that. And absent rate, let's say that they also get $10. Now, you might have a policy that you pay your instructor the same amount for each of these, and if that was the case, then you would just go ahead and put in 20 for each of these. Okay. I'm going to put in a 20 here. So we got all these green checks now. I'm going to make this one back to 10. And let's go ahead and make this one 15. I'm going to go ahead and do that so we can see the difference between these. And I'm going to save this now. All right, so let's take a look at session setup here. Configuration is for timesheet types. Now session setup, I'm going to go over here to session types. And when we look at our session type, so let's look at the private session type. I'm going to edit that. So here at the session type, what I can do is set up, first of all, the rate that we normally charge. So let's say that this is a $60 session, but I can also use a cancel rate. So if there's a late cancellation, let's say that the parent is charged $30 for late cancellations, and for absences as a policy, they're charged the full rate. Okay, if I don't use these check boxes, if I don't use, let's say, the absent checkbox, then it's just going to bill this standard rate up here. If I do use the checkbox, it'll use what rate I have down here. So that's how we can change things. So let's go ahead and make this $50 there. So just to review, what we're doing is we're setting it up so that the student is billed a rate depending upon if the student is present, if they've late canceled, or if they're absent for the session. And we save that. And then we also have created the timesheet type under configuration with, again, the this one was for timesheet types, and we set this one up for tutors. So we had a $20 rate for if they were present, late canceled $10, and $15 for absent. All right, so let's cancel that now. We're going to go to people. Go to instructors. And let me find an instructor that I do not have a timesheet type set up for them. I do have one for this instructor. Let's go to this instructor here. Okay, let's go ahead and set up this tutor rate for Jennifer here. All right, let me edit this. So when we have these timesheet types, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to go ahead and delete these so we can start from the beginning. That'll be a better way to show you how this works. Okay, so let's say that we're setting up for Jennifer for the first time. Just as a reminder, we can select the instructor by clicking here, and that selects this and highlights it. And if I wanted to select somebody else, now Cheryl's the one that we're looking at, or I can click on the name and it'll take me to her account. Let's see what that looks like here. So here's her avatar. If we want to upload a picture, it would show her picture there. So okay, we're dealing with Jennifer here. We got this timesheet type down at the bottom. I'm going to add a new timesheet type, and I'm going to say that I'm going to add the tutor timesheet type. Now remember, we have a rate of 20, a late cancellation rate of 10, and an absent rate of 15. That's what we had already set up. But we can also now associate with this the session type. So this is the private session. So what this is going to do is every time that this instructor, Jennifer, creates a session log using the private session type, she is going to have an automatic timesheet type created with Tutor. Now, if I use override rates, I would use those if I did not want to pay them these rates. I could pay them a specific rate just for this instructor. So I can say maybe she gets a raise. She's a more senior level instructor, so she's going to get paid 20, 12, and let's say 17. All right, I have to have these checked that I'm using these override rates. So this instructor does not get paid these base rates, they get paid these override rates. And once again, we've associated this with the private session type. So let me save that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at Jennifer's calendar and pull up her calendar. I do that by quick subscribing. And I'll go ahead and enter that. I'm going to get rid of this filter for Jordan. Okay, so there she is. Let's go ahead and look at her calendar only, show only here. All right, so we've got Jennifer's calendar here, and let's go ahead, let me see, 2/8, that's tomorrow. Let's go ahead and create a session log with Pablo. And I'm going to create the session log here. And let's use that session type that we'd associated. That's private. It's got me as the person. Let's make this for Jennifer. When Jennifer logs in, her name is the only name that appears here. Subject, let's go with location, let's go with attendance, let's make that present. And we don't need anything else there. I'll go ahead and save that. Now we go to the approve window here. And what we see is that under sessions, we've got that session that we've just created, and as an administrator we can review this, the contents of this, and then we could approve it. That would send an email out to the parent with the information from the session. We can also see though that we have under timesheets, this is the timesheet for Jennifer, the tutor, and she's getting paid. It doesn't actually display what her pay is, but it does show the contents. I can see and check that out. Now what I can do is when I'm at the session, so I see that we have both the session log and the timesheet, but as an administrator I would just come in here and review these session logs. And when the session log looks right, we can approve it. I'm not going to send this one. But we'll see is that that's been approved now. And we go to the timesheets. That's also been approved. So this is a nice, you don't have to touch the data twice. Once you've approved the session, the timesheet that was associated with it gets automatically approved. Let's go ahead and go to reports. And I'm going to go to the second page here. Timesheets, and let's go month to date. This is actually going to show the current month here. And let's go down to Jennifer's. There it is. Jennifer got paid $22. That was her override rate for a tutor in a private session with Pablo Alford. There's her pay for this period, $22. Okay, so that's it. Feel free to use the feedback button if you have any questions about this to help us improve these videos. Again, this has been an overview of how to set up timesheets and session types so that timesheets can be created automatically when sessions are created for students.